How did you stop hating yourself? I have my flaws. I am nowhere near perfect. I am fat, sure. But I can't hate myself anymore because I try to be the best person I can be every day. I have been a perfectionist for the longest time, just to come to realize that nothing is or will ever be perfect. And that is okay. I try to be a better man than I was yesterday, every single day. To everybody who is reading this, I hope you are okay. Don't hate yourself forever, no matter what. We all have flaws, we all have problems, and we are all not perfect, and that's okay. So please realize that you deserve to be loved too, especially by yourself. I turned the anger masked as hate to pity, and then sadness, which turned into grief. I could not have done it without the help of my therapist. 2 years later, I started caring for myself, feeling compassion. A year after that, now I'm at peace. The bad thoughts are barely there and very faint. The disgust and annoyance I felt towards myself are substituted with love and compassion. Where I used to see flaws, I mostly see beauty and strength. You can do it. Just need to understand that it will not be an overnight process and it will be a tough road. However, it is worth it. Trust me. I saw this wonderful clip that helped me. If I ask you to talk to me about your embarrassing moment, probably you'll think of hundreds of such moments. But if I ask you to talk to me about an embarrassing moment of your friend's life, you'll struggle to think of any. Actually, the things we hate ourselves for are often forgotten by others. So basically, our overthinking is the problem, not the mistakes we made. Every time you make a mistake, just say it was a learning curve and people won't remember it anyways. And understanding that you made a mistake is proof that you're better than you were then. Stopped drinking and got into AA, learning how to live life based on helping others and doing good deeds. It helped me be less self-absorbed. My sponsor tells me if you want self-esteem, do esteemable things. I also consistently do self-reflection and admit when I'm wrong and actively try to be better going forward. Did my amends with those I have wronged, cleared my conscience as well. And it helped to not have that weighing on me. I actually feel like I'm a good person who deserves happiness. And I always have been, I just didn't have the tools to know how to act like one. Extensive therapy. Spent many years hating myself, my body and everything in between. I'm a male. Finally decided to see a therapist. And it took me about 3 months to start feeling better. And after 6 months I felt amazing. Can't really tell you what changed, but I sincerely wish I had done it 10 years earlier. My self-hate was so strong, I felt embossed about myself. I was sweating profusely whenever I was in public, and I was working out like a crazy person to try and fight my hate for myself. It's the worst feeling in the world, and I hope you manage to get rid of it. Forgive who I was and accept who I am. I live for the moment instead of regret what I did wrong in the past, or what I could fail in the future. I stopped looking for what people are doing, so that I can stop comparing myself to them. I allowed the fear and faced them instead of letting them reside in my thoughts, which led to overthinking. Most important is to plan the future, which saves me from getting lost. Some helpful mindsets really embrace me. There is always a place for you. There is no thing such as the right choice. Choose what you want and make the choice right. I think for me, I still have my moments. It was when I came to realize that I wasn't inferior to anyone else. I've always worked with people who seem to be better at their job, or through overconfidence, they present themselves as being top of their game and things. But to be honest, nobody really knows what they're the more they project this over-dominant, interfering personality. The more I realize that the reason they're doing it is insecurity. This made me realize that I'm not pointless, and that criticism should really be taken with a pinch of salt. Acceptance helps a ton. I hated myself for what I am for a long time because of the way I looked, and I often got teased by my classmates for it. But after a while, instead of brooding about it, I chose to work on myself, build on what I perceived as my strengths and all of that. Today, even though I might not fit the society's definition of perfect, I am perfectly happy with the way I am and the way I look. Just make a list of some things which you think you can work on changing within your capacity, and are ready to work upon with optimism. Hope this helps. Well, first I cut people out of my life. People who didn't like me as I was, only tore me down, etc. Second is that I'm constantly reminding myself that I deserve kindness too. I look in the mirror and say I look good today. I buy myself a coffee and say because I deserve my favorite coffee. I go on a walk because I deserve some fresh air. And for a long while this does nothing for you. It doesn't feel like you're doing enough to deserve to love yourself. But you have to remind yourself that existing is enough. It doesn't have to be deeper than that. You will experience pain and loss in life inevitably. Things will happen that are out of your control, and the people you love and loathe will end up in ashes, or the cold, dead ground on which you stand. So start believing in yourself as much to your ability as of current. Take as much time as you need to pick up the pieces because healing from self-hatred takes time. I hope you find yourself and learn to accept and love who you are. I realized that my concept of good enough was an illusion. Everyone has a lot of shit inside and outside. And I used to accept everyone's shit, but not my own. I started to look for comfort, doing the wrong sometimes on purpose, just to get myself free from the pressure to be good. Now I'm feeling like I carry a lot of shit, but they're mine and am not afraid of not achieving expectations. I do not achieve my expectations to myself, so I lower them down, and I open to be wrong, weak, and fragile. That actually made me stronger. It takes a long time, and it isn't flawless. Nothing is. I actually watched and read about self-reflection and finding who I'm and not depending on what others think of me influencing the idea of me. Personally, my self-hate came from what others thought of me and trying to be a perfectionist. But it took years to love myself truly. And when I did, I was free. I still slip in my self-hate, and I just ask myself, why am I thinking this way, and work my way through it. If you want recommendations, I have tons. Ask yourself, is this how you treat others? If no, then treat yourself like any other person. Usually come up with an imaginary persona to talk to in my mind, and I frequently acknowledge that that person is basically myself. So I have to talk to myself kindly, as if I were talking to a friend. Stop thinking especially about yourself. Go outside and try not to have any thoughts. Instead, just observe the world around you. Look at a flower for an hour and try really hard to just feel. If you can't stop thinking, try focusing on an object and think just about that. When you walk around, imagine yourself not as you, but as a cat or a bug exploring the world. Don't relate what you see or what happens around to yourself. I hope this makes sense. In order to love yourself, you need to love the world around you first. When my therapist asked me what the fuck I did that was so bad, I couldn't come up with a reason. I was criticized most of my life and hardly ever praised for my successes. So I don't know how not to be critical of myself. It's something that ebbs and flows. But learning how to stop placing my worth on other people's affirmations and confirmations that I absolutely cannot control has helped. I'm a workaholic, so I have had to find value in places other than my job and colleagues. It's not easy, but therapy really helps. I realized hating myself was a game that was contingent on other people existing. It was essentially a silent game I was playing between myself and others. Me being the othered outcasted person. In a world with no people, for example, there would be no utility to hating myself. I would just long to seek any moment of beauty possible, and to cherish and love others again, which is what you should be doing with your time on this earth anyway. Even if it's only one or two people who truly purely receive your love. Step outside yourself. Look at your life and the things you've been through as though you are a stranger watching someone else. Of to be hated. Do they deserve compassion because life sucks? If you met someone going through exactly the same things you are, would you hate them like you hate yourself? Or is that unfair to them? Have the compassion for yourself that you would give to others. This only works if you, like me, only value others and never yourself. I got to kiss a girl I'd known for years and never thought I'd have a chance with. 0-1% putting effort towards new skills I'm interested in, and it helped me realize that even if it doesn't end up working out with her, I'll always have myself, and I'm worth putting the effort towards. I'm so sorry to hear this for sure. I am assuming you're young, confused, wrestling with all sorts of stuff. I remember how hard it was to be young. I threw away so many years of my life hating myself and trying to be different normal. Guess we all know how that turned out. I'm hoping you have trusted friends, family to talk to about all this. My life would be complete if I could save one young person from punishing themselves needlessly like this. Please take good care. D. Gave myself reasons to love myself. To quickly elaborate, began forming into the person I was aspiring to be. Healthy habits and relationships, respectable, determined, disciplined, etc. By doing so, I was able to focus more on the good that would slowly begin outweighing the bad. Though, truthfully, the self-hatred still lingers. It's significantly more controlled now. But some days it's still loud. It's a long journey to a healthy mind, but I try to focus on one day at a time.